Hello, my name is Evelyn Bernal and I am an analyst with H.A.M.E Consulting. In March of 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. As such, U.S. Department of Education statistics show that 85% of schools and universities issued emergent closure within 2 weeks of this declaration. For the past 4 weeks, H.A.M.E Consulting has conducted extensive research and obtained multiple credible sources on the innovation. We want to make sure you all get a good understanding of this innovation so that you can consider it a good method in the future. As we progress through our research, we were able to incorporate this information with research done as a team to begin the innovation design process. We will be able to provide you with more information on how the innovation was carried out and how we responded to the results thanks to the thorough findings obtained on different matters. Main points discussed include secondary research, primary research, concepts, prototypes, and launch plan. I'll start by sharing our secondary research. To begin the innovation process, we conducted secondary research on a variety of topics. These were conducted by Google Scholars and library databases at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, which included articles, case studies, and quantitative studies. The first topic research were the social effects of online learning during COVID-19, which included virtual discussions, various learning styles, and a virtual community. Educators at all levels are now reestablishing norms, connections, and a sense of belonging due to this matter. The second topic research were the learning environment changes during COVID-19. According to Education Week, over 50.8 million students were affected. Many learning institutions simply did not have time to properly plan and consider the changes of remote learning. Important challenges determined by the Urban Institute included student disability, English language learner status, crowded home conditions, technology, and internet. The third topic of research were the financial impact of online education during COVID-19. According to a study of Google search histories, 93% of students thought the cost of online courses should be reduced. The cost of online and in-person courses was found to be roughly the same. The last topic of research were the effects of technology on education during COVID-19. Remote learning and the use of technology have shown to be effective in teaching conceptual subjects, but not in teaching practical subjects. I will now discuss the key findings and how they relate to the innovation. First, these factors would include assisting students in having a successful education in an environment that supports their physical and mental health. Second, students' needs and accessibility issues do not have simple solutions and are better handled in person. Third, only families with disposable income have access to supplementary resources as a result of the shift to online learning. And lastly, the effectiveness of technology on electronic learning, as well as its lack of efficiency, demonstrate how the innovation can include low-cost technology devices. Next, Ariana Yang will discuss primary research key findings and implications.
After conducting our secondary research, we conducted 3 interviews with people who were heavily impacted by COVID-19. We also organized a survey that was distributed to multiple anonymous participants. With our findings, I will also discuss the implications of those key findings. The first interview was based on the effects of technology on education during COVID-19. Alan Yang, an information technology and cybersecurity student at Catawba Valley Community College, was interviewed with 6 open-ended questions. According to Alan Yang, technological devices that are used to perform virtual tasks have increased in price due to the pandemic. With many jobs and schools moving to remote learning, it requires an increase in the use of laptops, computers, and even individual components of the computer system. The second interview conducted was based on learning environments of education. Alyssa Barrier, a rising freshman at Mount Pleasant High School, was interviewed because of her high-risk environment during COVID-19. From this interview, we have confirmed that learning environments have a direct impact on student engagement and performance. According to Alyssa Barrier, asynchronous content and remote learning management systems are not practical platforms for education. The third interview conducted was based on the social effects of students during COVID-19. Jamie Enriquez, a current student at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, majoring in criminology, was interviewed about her ideas of the social effects on student experiences during COVID-19. According to Ms. Enriquez, students should maintain a schedule and have self-accountability to improve academic performance. Enriquez also suggested how students, instructors, and parents can contribute to the innovation. Lastly, we conducted a survey that was distributed to anonymous students at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, high school students, and graduate students. According to the results of the survey, 83.3% of students surveyed were unsatisfied with their online classes. The common complaints of online learning are as follows: inability to retain information, lack of engagement, dissatisfaction with performance, and lack of communication between students and instructors. These were the 4 primary research that H.A.M.E Consulting conducted to improve the innovative process. We will now have Miriam Flagg discuss the ideation process and the innovation and concepts that were used to create our ideas.
Hi, my name is Miriam Flagg, and I'll be discussing our ideation process here at H.A.M.E. The steps covered in our ideation process include the following: reviewing our key findings from our surveys and interviews, empathizing with our target demographic, identifying our main challenge, generating ideas, and finally, creating our initial designs. Next, I'll be discussing each step in detail. Empathizing is to relate to your audience, which was crucial in understanding the needs of our potential clients. Some of the most listed needs from our surveys included better communication with instructors, a more structured format for online classes, better access to resources to aid online learning, and less stress on students. To define our challenge or point of view, we first made note of what to avoid. For example, replacing teachers with too much technology. Then we tried to visualize how we could incorporate those needs into designs. Then we analyzed any patterns that we found throughout this process. We arrived at our challenge, which is, how can we mitigate the impact that online education has on mental health by creating a structured online resource? From our challenge, we picked 4 initial designs to contend for the spot of our prototype. The first one is a downloadable planner that can be printed from home that is accessible to anybody with an internet connection. The second one is a virtual reality learning software that can increase student engagement in the classroom. The third one is a recreational and educational application that could reduce student burnout. And lastly, the fourth one is an application that tracks student progress for things such as assignments or studying that can increase organization. Ultimately, we chose the downloadable planner as our prototype because it combines multiple needs into one. These needs include increased accessibility, improved mental health, and better organization. We will now have Hannah Atkinson discuss our prototype and launch plan.
Prototyping involves the creation, testing, and evaluation of a product. This feedback is then used to make any necessary improvements. During our prototyping process, the best concepts from the ideation process were chosen to be rapidly prototyped. Only the printable at-home planner was fully developed due to production and testing restraints during COVID-19. Microsoft Word was utilized to design the planner layout, which was then saved as a PDF. This PDF was sent out to several high school and college students for evaluation. Testers were asked the following: would you use this planner? Does this planner fit your current school situation? What improvements would you make? Initial feedback revealed that the planner needed to address different schedules and class times across all levels of education. Additionally, students wanted the flexibility of planning their own day versus having something scheduled and structured for them. They also enjoyed the idea of having something on the planner that was uplifting and unrelated to school. After 2 rounds of prototyping, we received satisfactory feedback from the majority of planner testers. Our final prototype now includes a schedule section with time slots from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. All sections allow students to fill in their own information and plans. We also included an I am grateful for section to give students a chance to think about something that they personally find uplifting. Here you will find a version of our final prototype that was tested by a University of North Carolina at Greensboro student. After much research and careful consideration, H.A.M.E Consulting makes the following recommendations for product launch and implementation. PDF distribution to schools and individuals across all levels of education at the start of each new school semester. This is typically early January or August. And then effectiveness will then be determined by the number of downloads and various consumer surveys. In summary, COVID-19 has had a large impact on education and remote learning. H.A.M.E Consulting hopes that you find our printable at-home planner useful and that it addresses the challenges that the pandemic presents. Main points discussed today were secondary research, primary research, the ideation and prototyping processes, and launch plan recommendations. The primary purpose of this presentation was to provide insight into the innovation's development. We hope that you take advantage of this information and research as you develop your final product. Education has adapted to the world we live in, and it will continue to do so. We hope that you find our findings useful. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or need anything additional. Thank you.